right, let's go out to Utah and talk to Chrissy. What's up, Chrissy?
Hi, how are you, Dr. John?
Partying. What are you up to?
Oh, just living another day in paradise.
Very cool. Lehigh, Utah. That's where paradise happens.
I don't know. I just moved here over the summer, so I'm still trying to convince myself that's true.
Oh, you just moved there this summer?
Yeah.
All right, so you went through summer in one of the most beautiful places in the world, and you're about to go through winter.
Yeah, I think it's a whopping 25 degrees outside, so it's
I went on a hunting trip
winter.
I went on a hunting trip out in that area in February of last year, I guess earlier this year. And when I called and said, "Hey, how cold is it going to be?" Guy goes, 8.
Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah, that was from a Texas boy. That was not cool. All right, so what's up? How can I help?
So just to give a little context, the reason why I moved to Utah actually is I got married in July, and me and my husband have blended families. He has 3 kids from his previous marriage, and I have 1. So now we have 3 boys and 1 girl all together.
How old?
The oldest is 10. The next one will be 9 next month. Mine just turned 8, and our youngest is 6.
Oh, good. Oh, man. Amazing. Y'all should start saving for college. That's going to be a rough few years. Okay, so 10, 9, 8, 6. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And I was just wondering if you had any advice on how to make blending a family a little bit easier, if that makes sense, because everyone talks about it, but I don't know if anyone really knows what's happening other than their outside perspective.
Yeah, give me, where do things stand right now? Y'all are about 6 months in. Where do things stand?
It has gotten better. The first month was so hard.
Yes.
And I just felt like no matter what I did, I was failing these kids because me and my husband got divorced over similar situations. And so his ex-wife kind of dropped out of the picture, leaving behind these 3 beautiful kids. And then my ex-husband was kind of emotionally abusive, not to my son, but just to me. And so I just feel like there's a ton of baggage going into this relationship, right?
Yes, correct.
I kind of went in with the attitude of, I'm going to fix this.
No!
And all it did was it made me go crazy, is the lesson I've learned in that.
Often when we say the words, I'm going to fix this, what our bodies do instinctively is we hold on tighter.
Oh, yes.
And the opposite has to be true. And I'll walk you through why. And there's a lot of neuroscience here and a lot of nervous system work, like Dr. Porges work. I mean, a lot here. I'm going to paint it as simple as I can make it, okay?
Okay.
And let's go ahead and be honest and call out what you said at the very beginning. I haven't had a blended family. So I'm only speaking from what the literature says, what my colleagues say, and what my friends who've tried it have reported, okay?
Right.
So I'm still speaking as an outsider. I think it's important to call out there, okay?
Right.
All right, so you have a 10, a 9, an 8, and a 6-year-old. Whew. 3 boys and a girl tossed in there, right?
Yes, sir.
I said that like Sandlot. And a girl, right? But you've got 3 boys and a girl, right? Okay, so I want you to keep a couple of words in mind always, always, always. And this will be for you and your husband, okay? Stability, stability, stability. Routine, predictability, things that they can count on. Everything in their world has fallen down, but we often think of falling down like a house collapsing. That's not what fell here. The house did fall, but what crumbled is the foundation, the sidewalk that they walk on. Everything they know. And a lot of times, you and your husband are adults. Y'all can quickly get on a new footing. Kids cannot. They absorb the footing from the adults in their life. And so what we often do when people blend families is they spend a lot of time on the house part. Whose room? What's the decorations? Let's do fun things. And what the kids need is routine, predictability, stability, stability, stability. That often means that mom and dad have to go to counseling to regulate their nervous system, to learn how to have peace, because the kids are absorbing every ounce of energy you're putting out into the world. Okay, so everything I'm going to tell you going forward is guided by one word: stability. How can me and my husband create stability and predictability? Now, he might be an over-the-road trucker. He may travel a lot. You may travel a lot. You may be on call because you're a nurse or what. That's all fine, but there is a routine to, oh, mom just got called out, so here's what we do. My kids and my wife, I travel a lot. I'm always on the road. And my wife and kids, when dad's gone, here's what we eat. Here's how we do bedtime. It's their own little world they've created. It's amazing, but it's stability, okay? That's the next one. So here's the next one. I want you to consider outbursts are simply unregulated bodies trying to adjust. So what does that mean? Expect anger. Expect the opposite, which is insane compliance. Uber compliance, which is a trauma response too sometimes. Expect you're not my mom. I don't want to be here. I hate you. Go back to wherever it is you came from. Mom, I hate these boys. Why do we have a girl here? All that is a 10, a 9, an 8, and a 6-year-old's bodies trying to make sense of new oxygen. Okay?
Yep.
They're not asses. They're kids.
Right.
And what we do is we take the words they say and the tone they use, and we transport it to adulthood. And if an adult talked to us that way, they'd be an ass.
Right.
These are 9-year-olds, 6-year-olds, okay? Their bodies are simply trying to adjust. That doesn't mean we don't let them, we let them run wild. They're not feral. But that means we don't hold them to adult standards yet because they're kids. And everything in their world has been blown up, okay?
Right.
So imagine, okay, well, I'll just go on to the next one. Go very slow. This is the next one. And by the way, we're going to clip this, and if possible, we'll clip it, and we're going to send it to you right away in its raw, unedited form. That way you guys can have this right away, and we'll have to wait a month for it to come out, okay?
Oh,
so you don't have to take notes. We can just talk. I want you to go very slow. A lot of, you're like 6 months, we should have this thing together. That's
exactly how I feel.
Their whole world exploded.
Right.
Okay? It exploded. Your new boys, their mom said, I don't want y'all.
Right, which would crush anybody.
Anybody.
So.
But that's not just a psychological crushing. That's not, because when I say psychological crushing, you can't just go, yeah, but I'm here. That's not how that works. It destroyed their heart rhythms, their nervous system. Right? Your daughter grew up in a home where mom was not safe. She has absorbed how to navigate a potentially volcanic man. That's in her body. And so she's going to have to learn what a loving guy looks like and feels like. It's just going to take time. Okay?
Okay.
So go slow. Here's the next one. Never, ever, ever, ever talk bad about their parents.
Right,
ever,
for sure.
Ever. You know that, but I just want to reiterate. They know that half of them is you and half of them is their dad. Or half of them is your new husband, half of them is the mom that left.
Right.
And so if it's like, well, your mom did it.
Right.
Right?
It's a sideways diss on the kids.
It's not a sideways, it's a hammer to their head. It's crushing. It's crushing to a child. That's why these divorces that are so contentious, where kids are used as collateral, is, I mean, you're ruining 100 years of lineage when you do that, if not more.
Oh, for sure.
It's just abusive.
And that's it is. And that's kind of what made me decide to get married again, is a couple years ago. I think my son was maybe 6 at the time. And I can't remember what even happened, but I got him back from his dad, and his dad just said something kind of snarky and rude. And I was like, ugh, he's such a butthead every time. And we got home, and my son could tell, just like you said, he just absorbed my emotions right into his soul and was like, what's wrong, mommy? And I was like, oh, I'm just annoyed with daddy. And it was such an aha moment for me that I was like, my son doesn't deserve to be my emotional support animal. Like, I
Yes.
can't do that to him.
Good for you. And husband doesn't get that anymore. He left.
He left.
He didn't get that
He
anymore.
doesn't deserve that.
Nope. Your new husband does. He can annoy the crap out of you. Old husband, he cashed out. Right?
Right.
If you take all your money, withdraw it from the bank, and you deposit in a new bank, that old bank doesn't get to tell you what to do with your money anymore. Period.
Right.
Okay? All right, so let's go to the next one real quick. I want you all to create a Who We Are board. I want you to go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby, something like that, and get a canvas. And I want you all to get music. The kids get to pick the music, and if they're already savvy enough, they get to pick the playlist. And you and your husband get to add a few songs that are just ridiculous songs that y'all love. Like whatever ridiculous, Poison or Dwight Yoakam, like whatever songs y'all grew up with, just ridiculous. But we're going to create an evening. And I'm going to pretend your last name's Smiths, okay? We're going to create the Smiths. Here's who we are. And we're going to hang this somewhere where everybody can see it. And like the Delonys is, we say yes to adventures, hospitality. We treat each other with dignity and respect. And we're about to redo it. We did it when my daughter was super, super, super young, so she couldn't participate. We're about to do it again. But here's why that's so important. They now can have a touchstone that they can see that they're a part of something that is being built that is new. Okay. It's kind of like when they're building a building, they hang an American flag out on the big cranes out there. It's one of these things like, that's new, and it's under this banner. Also, when the 10-year-old smarts off to you, "You're not my mom, I hate you." You point back and say, "Hey, the Smiths treat each other with dignity and respect." And you're allowed to be frustrated. I get that. You cannot talk to the adults in this house like that. That's not who we are. And then when when you violate one of the who we are, one of our core values, you are opting out. You are choosing to leave.
Okay.
And so like last night, my daughter had a thing she was acting in a certain way. And I said, "Hey, come here real quick." And I brought her real close and we were eye level. I was sitting down and she walked eye level and I whispered into her ear so as not to embarrass her. I said, "Hey, if you talk like that again, you are choosing to leave the room. And we don't like it when you're not with us. We want you here. But you can choose to leave," which is different than me kicking her out. "Hey, you can't talk to us. Get out. Go to your room." Because then I've just done what their mom did. I've just done what their dad did. I've showed them there is a line that you can't cross. That if you cross it, I don't love you anymore. You're out of my presence. And my kids, I want them to learn at a very young age, I will never send you out of my presence. You can opt out. If you come into my house intoxicated, acting, whatever, you're telling me I don't want to be here. Because that's not who we are. But you're going to hold the keys as to whether you're in a relationship with me, because your old man will love you to the moon and back, and I'll come get you wherever you are. See the difference there?
I do. That's a big difference.
It's a huge difference.
I never thought of it that way.
Okay, so expect them to be bananas, expect them to be jerky, and expect them to look at you and say, "Are y'all going to leave too?" And in fact, I'm going to push you to see if you will. And then they're just opting out. All right, here's the last thing I'll throw with you. I'll throw a couple at you real quick. Conversation journals with each kid. That works with some kids, some not so much. But everybody gets a spiral on their bed. And they get to write in it, and you'll respond every night and put it back on their bed when they're at school.
Oh, that's cute.
And it's just a way to, especially with younger kids, and actually it's worked with teenagers who won't talk to their parents, but they might just write, "Today didn't suck so bad. Today I was happy." That's it. That may be all they put. And you can write a paragraph. "Today I thought of you and I started laughing because of that thing you said last night. You're hilarious. I saw how hard you were working at this thing and it just brings me so much joy." Whatever, like we're going to have just this dialogue back and forth. Again, one or two of your kids will be like, "This is stupid. I'm not writing this." A couple of your kids it'll latch on to them. If you can, intentional time with each kid, that's tough, especially when they're this young. It's just hard. It might be 5 minutes on the front porch. And it might be you with a 10-year-old. Like, no, we have tea time at night. Everybody away. We get 7 minutes of tea time. And we're just going to have an evening cup of tea or an evening ice cream, whatever the thing is. But we have 7 minutes, 9 minutes. It didn't have to be an hour, right? Here's the last two. If possible, give the other parent opportunity to win with the opposite kids. What could that look like? What if you took 2 of the boys or the 3 boys out to buy a Christmas present for their mom? That sounds insane. And you'd have to be a super emotionally regulated adult to do that. To admit your husband had a family before y'all got together. To admit that these kids are still connected to their mom, even though their mom doesn't treat them with love and respect. Now, that may not work in your house, but give them an opportunity. What you're showing them, not by your words, but by your actions. I'm not at war with you, with your parents, with your mom. I want her to win. I want y'all to love her. And they stop feeling this sense of disloyalty to her every time they're nice to you. And your kids stop feeling disloyal to their dad every time they're nice to your new husband. It's like, no, we're on the same team. If your husband took your 2 kids out, 6 is old. I don't know how old your son is, but hey, we're going to buy a cool present for your dad. That's like money in the bank.
Wow. See
what I'm saying? And listen, your ex may talk crap about your new husband. He sucks. Next year, he sucks. Next year, he sucks. Your kids, over time, you're playing a 10 or 15-year game. They will get it. They'll slowly go, oh, I'm being raised by a man who's very secure, treats people with dignity. My dad is immature and rude and ugly. I don't want to be there. I don't feel safe in there anymore. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not an instant gratification kind of game.
Once you're divorced and you have kids, instant gratification's over. That leads me to my last point. Don't take anything personally. So hard. I can't think of something harder. Don't take it personally. Don't take it personally how his ex-wife talks about you. She's not well. That's okay. Don't take it personally how your ex-husband is threatened by this new amazing family y'all are building from scratch. He opted out. Don't take it personally what a 10-year-old says to you, or when that 10-year-old becomes 14. I'm not going to take anything personally. I'm out. The only person who has permission to hurt me personally is my husband, my new husband. That's it. And vice versa. Kids don't get that kind of vote. They can learn that, hey, you can't say that, it's disrespectful. Or you can say, I'm choosing to be hurt by what you said. But they're not going to hold the keys to your kingdom like that because you're the adult and you're the regulated one. So that's a lot I threw at you. I hope that helps. I wish you guys all the best, in surviving a Utah winter and building an amazing new blended family. Takes time, goes slow. There's a lot there. You guys can do it, and thank you so much for your heart, Chrissy.